What is up, my thrifty friends? Tabs here from the Urban Goddess shop. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are going over just questions that you guys are asking. I did throw out a question bubble onto my Instagram stories asking if there was any hangups that you had currently in your business. So what is causing you pain right now? And I think in the back of my head, I was like, hey, I know what's bugging everyone. It's been slow sales, but maybe there's some things that I can help you guys with. And I got some really good topics, so we're going to just jump into them. I'm not going to shout out any names. A couple people did ask not to share their names, which is totally fine with me too. So today we're just going to go over the topics. First topic that I had is storage space and like, how do I make it work? How do you store everything? And I thought this was a really good question because this is something that I actually think that I have like a good grasp on and a good system on. So I'm going to take you guys into the inventory room. All right, so behind me is where I keep all my inventory. It doesn't take very much room, and I'm going to flip the camera around so I can really show you guys how it works. On one of these shelves, I can potentially store 200 items in these totes. Plus, I would have the option to put items on the top shelf. So technically, I guess I could do 250 items. This is a 5-shelf shelving unit. I don't even know how to describe it. And I just got it from Home Depot. It's a plastic one. It's pretty sturdy, so no complaints there. If you go to Home Depot, they have this, I think it's the heavy duty one is the one that I got. I also use these clear plastic totes. These also came from Home Depot. And originally they had red closing lids. Oh, here we go. Kind of like that kind of fold and connect in the middle. In each tote, I have a numbered bag system. I recycle these bags when the item sells. When I list again, I will reuse that number, and I usually put 1 to 25. So 25 items go in each of these bins. This shelf is probably about 3 feet wide, and I'm going to say about 6 feet tall. So in a pretty small space, this would fit in a closet. If you have one area that you have like a closet space or, 3 feet by 6 feet tall on a wall. And I think this sticks out about maybe 24 inches at the max. So it doesn't take a lot of room. And this is an easy way to store 200 to 250 items. Now, I do have multiple sides. So I have 1 to 400 here. And then I also have a sweater system where I did my bins as like S1, S2, S3, and I just put the items folded up nice into the sweater bin and put this inventory number as my SKU. So that is my regular inventory, my sweaters. I find this the easiest to do sweaters. And then I have shoes. I don't really sell a lot of shoes. And the reason why I don't sell shoes is because I don't like storing them. But this is how I do it. I really only have 2 totes right now with shoes in them. So you could do shoe tote 1, 2, 3, 4. And I would... anything that's big, I don't bag. But anything that will fit into a bag, I will bag it just to kind of keep them together. That's the main part of my inventory. And then I also have closet inventory, and this is how I store all my jackets. I think if you were limited for space, I would probably avoid selling shoes and jackets and just stick with like jeans, shirts, lightweight sweaters, things like that. Items that I could fit, 25 in a tote, those are probably the ones that I would stick with and avoid the bigger and bulkier items if you didn't have storage. Also, I think for sweaters, you could have like bigger totes, and maybe you had 3 totes, numbers 1, 2, 3, and you fold the sweaters into there. So those are my best storage tips. This is how I store the most amount of inventory in the least amount of space. Originally, I thought maybe I would up the amount of inventory that I was carrying to make more sales, and that's why I kind of allotted for more inventory than I have. But since then, I've just kind of transitioned more to higher ASP items instead of focusing on volume. So I'm trying to sell higher value, higher dollar pieces, and less items rather than lower ASP items and higher volume. Because with that higher volume is just more time sourcing, more time listing, more space storage, like everything just multiplies with that. So yeah, that's just the business model that I chose to go into. But I hope that helps you with storage ideas. If you have any questions or any suggestions, maybe something that you're doing that works well for you for storage, drop it down below, share, help each other out. This is just one seller's or one reseller's method, but I know there's like many, many more. And I'm sure you guys have some hacks and some great ways that you are storing your inventory. Next question that I received was just slow sales. So something that's been kind of dragging everyone down has been slower sales lately. It's so hit and miss. Like, it's actually strange where it kind of reminds me of last year, but I don't want to say it out loud yet. But yeah, it's just been hit and miss. Sometimes I have days where sales are crazy, sometimes where they're so slow, sometimes it's days of slow sales. I don't know. And I do think that they are kind of wearing everyone down. I have heard, and I've said this before, this is going to be the year that challenges resellers. I've heard that reselling has been relatively easy the last 3 years, and I've only been a reseller selling clothes for 3 years. You know, it's going to get tougher. We're post-pandemic. There isn't a bunch of money being pumped into the market right now. Inflation is high. And unfortunately, I don't know if there's a way to get around the slow sales, but I can share what I'm doing and what my thoughts are. I feel like sales ebb and flow. They have good times, they have slow times, and they may have slow months, like not even just a slow week, slow months. And it's just learning to accept that you can't change anything. I guess what you could do is list more. So if you're noticing that your sell-through rate is dropping, the remedy would be to list more technically, because the more you list, the more sales you're going to get, even if your sell-through rate is dropping. Personally, I'm doing just more focused sourcing. I'm sourcing things that I know are selling for me, brands, styles, colors, things like that. Trying to stay away from items that I have quite a bit of. So if there's a certain style of jeans or jean shorts, I recently sourced and listed a bunch of jean shorts, and none of them, well, a couple have sold, but none of the Levi's have sold yet. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to slow down on sourcing Levi's until I start to see some of those jean shorts selling through. But yeah, I like to use my data for what to do in my business. So if there's things that I notice are selling quicker, I'm going to try and seek out those types of items. Do you get what I'm saying? So like more focused sourcing rather than just grabbing everything that you think will sell. Another thing that I do when sales are slow is really check comps on what I'm grabbing, especially for the items that I'm paying up. Now, if I was a binge shopper, of course, you can buy a lot of items shopping at the bins, but I don't have a local bins and I do pay up for a lot of my items. So what I have found over the last month even is that I've really been checking comps and making sure that an item is relevant and that I think it still holds value, and kind of knowing the age. I've actually purchased a few items for resale in the last 2 weeks that I didn't realize how old they were, and had I known, I don't think I would have grabbed them. I have grabbed them, I have listed them, we'll see how they do, but I'm trying to stay away from older styles of some of the brands that I'm selling right now, because the brands I'm selling tend to be very trend specific. So yeah, it's just being cautious about what I'm getting. A couple things that I am doing is staying consistent. I'm still trying to list, X amount every single week. I have been working more through my death pile. So rather than spending tons and tons of money when I don't have tons and tons of money coming into my business, I'm working through all the little death piles that I have. And I'm sure you guys have death piles that you can work through. So this allows me just to again, be more focused when I'm sourcing and using my death pile as the fillers, just trying to get them listed, get the money back into my pocket. Another thing that I'm doing is still sharing, making sure that you're sharing consistently. I use Sidekick, which has been great because it's still keeping, that activity in my closet and sending out offers. So currently I have my automation set at, I think it's a 25% offer. And then once or twice a week, I'm sending out a 40% offer or a 35% offer, depending what I feel like doing and how slow sales have been. I am priced to allow these types of discounts, so that's something you have to keep in mind. If you're pricing at what the lowest solds are, you probably don't have a lot of room to send out offers. So just making sure that you're priced appropriately for what you find people are wanting for offers. And with my experience on Poshmark, everyone wants an offer and a deal. So you have to make sure that you're priced to offer at least 20%. Unless you're like clearing things out and you're selling them super cheap, I do think you should be priced to offer at least 20% discounts and still meeting the profit margins that you want. I do think this is a good time to work on that death pile, to start getting through it. I like to slow down on spending when sales are slow, but like I said, I got a ton of items everywhere, death pile items that I really should get working on. And even if they're out of season, I'm going to start some of them, getting them listed, because my automation tool is going to relist these items every 30 or 60 days, depending on how you have yours set. I think I have mine set to 30. So they'll become new inventory. They'll be relisted prior to the season when they are more current, I guess. I hope that makes sense. I think work through what you have if you don't have money coming in to spend on inventory. Definitely work through what you have. Otherwise, you are sitting on a gold mine. And then one other little thing I like to do when sales are slow is sometimes I'll go through my inventory and pull old items that are within season and take them to a buy sell trade store and just get cash for them, right? Just cash them in. I've had them for over a year. They haven't sold. Let's see if I can get a couple bucks from Plato's Closet or Style Encore, places like that. Another topic that I saw that was quite popular, and it showed up a few times in the questions, was time and time management, managing working plus your business. And this can be a really tough one, but I feel like I have really good time management skills. So it's something that I definitely can touch on and share with you guys. So I usually look at my day. What do I have to do? What tasks need to be accomplished to run my business? What time do I have to do this? And how do I block it out? You know what I mean? Like, what types of time blocks do I need? Something I like to do on my phone as well is turn off notifications and set it to focus mode. I do have all of my immediate family members set on emergency, so if they phone me, it will override focus. I will turn off all other notifications. Another way to focus is to set goals and be like, hey, when I photograph and list these, 5 or 8 items, then I'm going to take a break and I can go on, say Instagram or TikTok for 15 minutes and set timers. Or I'm going to list for an hour, and when I'm done listing and my alarm goes off, then I can go on to social media. Because I think that's the biggest time suck for everyone, is falling into social media or doing other tasks besides the ones that you need to be focusing on. I also find sometimes if I have a show playing, I'll work a little bit slower because I end up watching the show, and I have much better luck playing music while I'm trying to list. Just helps me focus a little bit better without, really taking my focus off the tasks that I'm doing. It's the same thing at your work, right? Or at a job. We don't get to watch TV while we're doing a job, but we get to listen to music because music is a little bit less distracting than watching a show. I do think that time management is probably one of the hardest things that most resellers struggle with. A lot of it comes down to discipline, and if we can be disciplined enough to do the work that we need to do and then enjoy the time off. So in my life, how I think about this is that I want to take off the weekends, or I want to spend the evening with my family, you know, watching a movie or whatever. So what tasks do I have to accomplish? Like, there's non-negotiable. I don't have any extra time, and I'm not willing to let go of my business goals, right? So it's like, okay, I have to accomplish this in the set amount of time. How much time am I blocking off to do sourcing? How much time am I blocking off to do listing? And then what about putting away my inventory and shipping out parcels for the day? So those are the tasks that really need to be done. And I think there's a lot of tasks that we do that are not necessary. So make sure you know what's important and what isn't, and block your time. That's what has worked best for me. And avoid social media, because that is the biggest time suck. How many people hop onto TikTok or Instagram and like an hour goes by and you have done nothing but sit on your phone? It is one of the biggest time sucks, I think. Another really good question that came up was how to get ready for summer slowdown. And I love this because it happens every single year. This year, I am sourcing some summer pieces right now, but I'm not going too crazy until I see how they're doing. With sales being slow, I don't want to buy a bunch of summer stuff and then end up sitting on it or having to clear it out come August. So I'm being pretty selective, but I am still sourcing fall and winter pieces, because right now is when the thrift stores and the consignments and the buy-sell trades are marking them down and starting to do sales. So I do think that this is a really good time to continue buying fall and winter pieces, because even though we are heading into spring and summer, I will start listing my fall and winter pieces end of July, beginning of August. I follow Costco's rule. When Christmas trees go out in August, I'm listing my winter pieces, because guess what? Snowsuits go out, and mitts and toques and sweaters and all those items start going out in August, and people buy them, right? People are buying them. So you have to be ahead of the season. So yeah, as of right now, I'm going to continue sourcing fall and winter pieces. I will list my most seasonal pieces. So if I have spring and summer items that I have sourced that week, I'm going to obviously try and list those first. Once those items are listed, I will start working through any fall and winter items that I have. And again, because my automation is relisting my items every 30 days, even if it's out of season, it's going to get relisted once or twice before fall shopping starts. So I'm not too worried about them showing up new, because they will show up new once a month anyways. And another thing with purchasing out of season is just making sure that you have the capital in your business and that you can afford to sit on this inventory. Because if you're spending, let's say $500 in a month on inventory, and you have to sit on 70% of that because it's fall and winter, you have to be able to beat out that money. And that is important, that you have some capital in your business before you are buying things to sit on the inventory, especially if you're relying on this money, week to week or month to month to pay your bills. It can be more difficult to sit on the capital, but I do have that money set aside. I can sit on the inventory for a bit, and just finding that balance, it's really tough, honestly. And the best way to do it is just to try different methods. Try listing some spring and summer. How are they doing? If they're not quite selling yet, maybe get some more spring items, right? Some spring sweaters. I'm finding sweaters are selling really well right now, especially ones in like neutral tones and spring type colors. So I'm still listing sweaters right now. Another comment that I saw was not feeling it lately. So who is not feeling it lately because sales are dead? I think we all are. I think this is really tough. When sales are slow, it's hard to find the motivation, because the reality is, for most of us, the sales are the exciting part. It's the sourcing, that's the fun part, but the sales, when they happen, that's the exciting part. And when sales aren't happening, it's not too exciting. But I also want to say reselling is pretty mundane. It's very repetitive task: source, list, inventory, ship, repeat, right? And we do that hundreds of times over and over and over. And it's not very glamorous or exciting. And And yeah, it can be tough. It can be tough when you're not feeling it. But I think this is back to that point of just staying consistent. Consistently listing. You're stocking up your store right now. Sales will pick up. This does not last forever. We know that. It's tough because we don't know how long this is going to last, but sales will pick up again. So I like to take these slow times. Number one, if you can, rest, take a break, go outside, take a holiday, spend time with your family. If you have that luxury, do it. Don't stress about it. Sales will come back. Inventory will be out. You'll move more stuff. But if this is your sole income and it's very important that you are making sales, I would say stay consistent and maybe up your listings a little. Also, sourcing items that people are looking for, knowing what's selling, looking at what's selling in categories that you tend to source in. What are your top selling categories? What are your top selling categories for the last month? Maybe it's jeans. Maybe you've been sourcing shorts, but jeans are your top sellers. So you want to be focusing more on jeans, right? Use your own data to figure out what's selling, what brands, what styles and colors, and try and dive more into those categories. But if you can take a break, summer is a good time to just slow down. Get outside, spend time with family, friends, relaxing, and just mentally preparing for the busier season. But I have found that, there is a little bit of summer slowdown, but my sales seem to be pretty consistent, all year. And probably because I stay consistent in my listing. I do have weeks here and there where I don't get the listings out that I want to get out, but I try and stay as consistent as possible throughout the year. And then another tip for when sales are slow and you're just not feeling it, your taxes. Work on your taxes right now if you haven't finished them up and sent them in. I will be starting mine next week, so I feel like I need a break and to mentally prepare for this, but it always seems so daunting before you do them, and then it's not so bad once they're done. And then the last topic for today, because I have had some questions about eBay and how my eBay sales are going. My 90-day total has now topped up to $1,600, which is really good because I am not a pro eBay seller. The sales in the last month have been pretty good. So I'm going to share what I'm doing and what's working for me. And if you're trying to get started, hopefully these are some tips that would help you. If you are a pro eBay seller, please drop down below and share anything that you do in your business that's maybe a daily task or like repetitive that you think helps with sales. But for me personally, I have been ending listing and sell similar 3 to 5 items a day. I also am rechecking solds and taking a look at the price to see if my price is correct or am I out to lunch on my pricing, and then also checking to see what eBay is recommending that I promote it at. Maybe I need to promote it a little bit higher. Maybe I had it promoted higher and it's now recommending, like 7% or something, then I will drop my promoted rate down as well. I do list 2 to 4 new items a day. I do miss a day here and there, and I just want to throw that out. I don't beat myself up over it. It is what it is. I do my best to list 2 to 4 new items a day. And because I'm listing, 20 to 30 new items into Poshmark every week, this is pretty easy just to space out the listings onto eBay from that week. I also send out offers as quickly as possible to watchers. So if it pops up, someone watches an item, I'm sending them an offer, and my average right now is about 20% off for that offer. And I'm trying to keep my pricing pretty relevant to what people are asking and also paying attention to what recent solds are at too. Another tip is answer questions promptly. So if you're receiving questions, make sure you answer them right away. As far as promoting, I wanted to touch on that as well. I'm currently promoting listings at whatever eBay recommends, and I'm kind of capping that out at probably 11 or 12%. I'm trying not to go higher than that. I am also offering flat rate shipping, so $9.99 to the US and $14.99 to Canada. 90% of my sales right now are going to the US. So items are listed on ebay.ca, but they do show up on ebay.com. I just want to throw that out there. That's one of the most common questions I get, actually. I do list them onto ebay.ca. And as far as the shipping costs, because I'm shipping mostly lightweight items, I try not to put heavy items onto eBay. My shipping costs usually are $10.50 to $12.50 heading down to the US. So I am eating about 50 cents to just under $3 on shipping costs. But I sell higher dollar items as well. So my average sale price right now on eBay, I think, is like $86 or something like that. So it's quite high. I'm seeing a higher ASP on eBay right now too. So I'm okay building in, you know, that couple dollar cost of shipping into the price and being able to offer flat rate shipping. So with the $9.99 shipping, when it converts into USD, it actually converts into about $7, which is a pretty competitive rate, I think, offering to the States. Because right now, as a Canadian, most sellers in the US, if they are using the global shipping program, it is automatically putting the shipping cost to like $25 to $30. It's ridiculous. So I can see why it's harder for Canadians to buy from the US, but yeah, I can offer that shipping rate, and I am using net parcel, which is through PayPal, and I do have a video about that too, so I'll pop that up here where I talk about it. But yeah, through net parcel, most of the items I'm shipping are between $10 and $13 down to the US, and obviously lightweight items. So it's been working really well. I'm happy with it, but these are the tasks I'm doing. These are the things that I'm trying to do daily and just regularly. And I think I'm finally building up some consistency. I think on eBay, most people give up before they have the chance to be consistent and to build those habits. Just like, you know, Poshmark, it takes habits and consistency to make sales. And I think eBay is even a little bit more finicky on the consistency. At least on Poshmark, we can pay automation to be consistent for us. I don't think there's automation on eBay that you can pay to end and sell similar and to handle that part of your business. But if there was, that would be a game changer. But right now, I think you just have to be consistent on your own. That's what's working for me. This is my 2 cents on these topics. If you have anything to add to any of these topics, please drop down below. I love these discussions. I think it's such a good opportunity for us to share with each other and to help each other grow, because there's lots of people that you know, need advice on these various topics, and you probably have some knowledge to share. All right, I hope you guys enjoy these videos. I really like these question and answer type ones, and it gives me a chance to maybe dive into topics that I don't normally discuss on my channel. If this video brings value to your reselling business, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, and then also tap subscribe on your way out if you're not already subscribed. All right, I am wishing you guys all many sales, and I'll see you next time. Bye.